This is 1,176 days today since Richard vanished. Let me move my chair around a little bit so you can see his face. Okay, there you go. His beautiful face. Beautiful young man, beautiful soldier, distinguished honor graduate. He didn't just go missing, something happened. And here we are, 1,176 days, and we have some major questions today. But before I start, I just want to let you know that this is a very serious case. Okay, this is a huge, huge, serious case with the code red on a whistleblower, meaning the retaliation of a whistleblower, the staged attempt to discredit him as a whistleblower, as a witness, and then to retaliate against him continuously and severely for months, to destroy his military career for nothing, with a everything was botched. I I've called it a soup sandwich. It was all a soup sandwich. And it escalated. It escalated in July of 2020, where they decided they had to take his life. So a code red that escalated to murder. And today in Huntsville, Texas, a carjacker was executed for killing an elderly woman in a carjacking gone wrong. It happened over a decade ago, but today he was executed. It brings chills to anybody who says it. He was executed by lethal injection, and I think I have his name here, Jediah Murphy. And so the state of Texas, praise God, they don't mess around. There were questions in the case, but they had enough. They had enough. And they knew that it was enough. And today, they executed Jediah Murphy for killing an elderly woman while carjacking her possessions, theft, committing this crime that escalated. And if Texas, it gave us some hope in this case, because if Texas will follow through with accountability to a disgusting crime as that, we all have our mothers, we protect them. To see someone kind of like that Dillard's guy, the Dillard's guy with all those purses, all those Coach purses on his arms, he was so out of control in what he was doing that he could have hurt my grandchildren. He could have hurt my mother. Praise God that we were on the other side of the counter than him, and therefore a little bit protected. But the shock of it. And anyway, I just want to say that if Texas is going to go through with it, thank you. But also, I want to say to everybody that has participated in the murder and the cover up and the retaliation of my son that this is not a game. The knocks are coming. We're getting institutional help here now. And because of that, we have some extra breaking news to share. Every day is breaking news in This case, it seems like it. I might be over exaggerating a little bit, but it really seems like it. Every day, breaking news that here over 3 years later, and I'm still shaking. I have chills. Um, and I will tell you even more tomorrow. Uh, so, but I'll just start with a little bit. Um, we all know that we were told that Dallas Hart was not in the area, that he did not know Richard, that he was not Richard's platoon leader, being a first lieutenant, the same rank that a platoon leader is, that it didn't matter that he was removed from the military, that the special agent, CID special agent Tavita Nusa, lost his badge and he was removed from the military, that, Dallas's mother was tampering with our son's file there at the CID, and video missing video, and I should go on Facebook to make sure that I'm on. Um, I just have chills announcing the execution of this carjacker. Um, so this is not a game. And why am I shaking? Because I want that accountability in my son's case for those who murdered and covered up um, the destruction of my son. And I never thought that I'd ever have to feel this way, you know. So it is. Yeah, here we are. Um, to have to think that way, to come to this place is just. I hope that nobody else has to do it. I really do. It's it doesn't feel good. So anyway, so I am on, and everyone knows that we have now proof that Dallas Hart and Richard knew each other. Uh, we know that the whole travel voucher is a fraud. We've had several people that are very, very professional analyze it. It's their job. They've had to sign hundreds of them, if not thousands, of these travel vouchers, and it's a fraud. 99.999. Um, there is no orders being shown. Easily, the Army, in this case of the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier, you would think that they would try to protect the platoon leader of Richard by showing the orders, right? Bringing forth the platoon leader. You think that they would want to do that they would want to do that to the public. Um, so, you know, everything on Dallas Hart, that he was removed, that he has been accused of incest with his brother and his father by his own mother, not me. Not me. I don't know anything about that, but his mother has an FBI and CID notarized criminal complaint while he was serving as an officer in the United States military. Um, she did that, uh, and says that he did that, and that a 7-year-old was sexually assaulted by several members of her family in her master bedroom, that there was child pornography. She also said that when he came back in 2019, he rushed over to her house and he was looking for child pornography. He was he was actively engaged with this child pornography. Okay. We've been told that it is confirmed that they were creating child pornography and then selling it to the soldiers. I'm so shaken by this execution, the execution of this person, and it's not shaken because don't agree with it. That I'm not glad it happened. I'm very glad it happened, and that's why I'm shaken. I never thought I'd be glad that an execution happened in Texas. I'm very shaken by the whole thing. Um, I'm shaken by the fact that I'm I'm glad because it gives me hope that accountability will come in our son's case that knocks on the door, and I truly believe it that because I'm about to tell you something. I'm about to tell you the breaking news. Um, so Dallas Hart, his whole story has crumbled, and we have more than enough. I've just told you just a little bit. We have more than enough to give to a jury and for the jury to convict him. Okay. So that is very important news. And you know that the CID kept all that information from us, kept the information from us that Richard was a whistleblower, that he was, that was an act of retaliation what they did to him. They tried to excuse it, and there was no excusing it because on July 9th, uh, an agreement was made in the court by the prosecution or the state that they had nothing on Richard. And so the bottom fell out of all of their excuses for the retaliation. And so that I think contributed to the decision to murder him, to make that code red a murder instead of a retaliation. And so that is a very pivotal date on the 9th of July 2020. That happened. The bottom fell out of their their legal excuses to uh, destroy Richard, and so they would be held accountable. And so I think that was a very big deal. And then there was some other politics going on at that time that I think also contributed to the decision to carry out this murder code red. Um, and this the CID keeping that all from us is really curious. With the Park University until we found out that Richard was a CID intern um, going to Park University to become a law enforcement agent, to get into law enforcement. Let's just say that to get into law enforcement, and then being offered this, you know, time with the CID, and then having um, this information coming out of our sources from within Fort Bliss saying that Danea was there too. Danea was there, and that Eddie Rocha and Lydia Rocha, and I've put this out, and I'd really love for them to call 941-677-0060 and give us their information on, to confirm what our alliance on Fort Bliss is telling us. Um, that they were working for Ann Ogle and Thomas Kane in their businesses that were connected with the community of the CID office, which is a small community, which would be Leilani Hart, which would be Danea Katzen, which would be Marlon Soto, which would be Ron Stieg, which would be also Jay Paul and also Tavita Nusa. And, so that's just, and others, there's others. Because there's a gunsmith involved too, and others, and of course being connected then to the VA. So this is a pretty small group, but very, very important group because they hold very, very high positions on Fort Bliss. And so you can see why uh, the effort to use millions of dollars to cover all this up um, was entertained and done and absolutely done because they didn't want another Guillen situation, meaning they didn't want their jobs to be chopped up, right? They were protecting their gravy train, their jobs, at the expense of major major crimes they were committing, and their criminal syndicate, right? So now, how does that mean that Dannia and Belen knew each other if they're all kind of like working together? I think so too, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. We have, from a couple years ago, we knew that they had the same cousins, right? Because they interacted online. And we received those screenshots. And so we know that they have a group of cousins, right? And today we're asking, of all days, and this is why this is so important, because we just had an execution in Texas. This is not a game. And so we're asking Tanya Katzen. We're asking Cesar Gonzalez. We're asking um, the Ortegas. We're asking the Rochas that are connected in this with Dannia, with Belen. Are they cousins? First cousins? Are they first cousins? Because we have information that they are first cousins. And they're connected, even in their living circumstances. So, I think that Tanya and Eddie Rocha, who I tried to call, I did talk to Lydia. She said she didn't know anything about any of this, which we have proven her wrong. She did know, and maybe it was so stressful that she forgot about it. But maybe this, she can dig down in her memory, um, because this is serious. This is very serious. We're talking about lethal injection, serious. So I'm not trying to play a game here. I'm saying we have information that they are first cousins, and that we need Tanya Katzen and Herberto Eddie Rocha to contact us, to let us know their side of the story. Because we know that Richard was in contact with Belen Rocha. We know that. And Team 5 Richard Halliday, who has been following us, knows that Dannia, and I want to make this clear, Belen Rocha contacted us to mislead us, to obstruct justice. Okay? She contacted us to cover this up. This is a serious crime. Dannia Katzen came to us when we were in El Paso. She contacted us, and then she came to us. We met her at KTSM with Nastasia Paloma, and was interviewed for we spent a long time in there, y'all. A long time. And I have videos, and I have, pictures and everything like that, all the notes, all the notes, all the everything that was said. We have it all. And she was sent. It doesn't matter what she said because what she said was not true. The intent is what matters, and the intent was to deceive. The intent was deception from both Belen and Dannia. These young girls, this is how, think about this for a minute. You have older, seasoned criminals that, in order to protect their gravy train, will endanger two young females to do their dirty work, to send them out, to give them, oh yeah, we're going to protect you or whatever. This is what I need you to do. Otherwise, I don't know what they said to Belen and what they said to Dannia to get them to obstruct justice, to get them to deceive, to groom them into criminals. These are young. I don't even think, I think Belen just turned 20, right? Or like in October. So she's just 20. And Dannia's in her 20s. And look at what they're facing. And their cousins, their first cousins, they are known to each other. And the lies and the deceptions to cover this up, what are they covering up? They're covering up the murder of Richard, of an active duty whistleblower soldier. That's what they're covering up. This is a lethal injection type of crime. And we have even the parents not coming forward to defend their children. Richard is in his 20s too, if he would be alive. I'm defending him. We're putting our life on the line because let me tell you, if they're going to do this to Richard, they are killers. What makes people think that they wouldn't try to kill us or our loved ones or others? And these same people that killed Richard, in order to preserve their, because so many of them, I'm going to tell you, they've declared bankruptcy. So, for money, they're going to put their children in danger like this, not only in their professions, but in a case of a whistleblower soldier that was code redded, and they are putting their children on the front line. This is kind of like what's going on in wars, right? Where they put the women and the children in front to let them take the bullets and the bombs, let them commit the obstruction of justice, the deception, the legal terms that I don't even know, but there's so many of them in this case because just, the PI that came in, he interviewed Dannia and Belen and nobody else. Dannia and Belen, because they set them up. They set these young girls up. It's so disgusting. And now they are have records, and they are in they're just becoming adults, and they already have these long criminal records, and now they're participating. They have committed these crimes against a whistleblower active duty soldier. And we're told he was in uniform. And the cover-up of it Now, yeah, I am being so kind because these people are just, I don't have the adjectives to describe how despicable these people are, and to not defend their children, not to raise them up in the way they should go, to be, you know, uh, a blessing to the world. No, they raise them up to be criminals. And then when they get into this kind of pickle, this kind of situation, to cover up, and you're not even going to believe it. You're not even going to believe it. And I'm going to tell you it tomorrow. What they're trying to cover up. Um, did Belen and Dannia commit an atrocious crime? Yeah. Yep. Now, when they were 5 years old, they didn't say, okay, I'm going to be a stripper. I'm going to be a con woman. That's what I want to be when I grow up. Just in a few years, while this man is hijacking and killing an older woman, uh, you know, in that time period, I'm going to surpass his crime and participate in the cover up of the code red, the constant, severe, waterless waterboarding of a soldier that was a whistleblower, that wanted to do me good, but I had to be a Delilah. I had to be, because that's where I was being groomed. That's what I want, right? I don't believe they said that. I don't believe they said that when they were 5 years old. I think they've been set up. And maybe they can take that defense. I don't know. I don't know. Because in the jury of Jediah, I hope I'm saying his name right, Murphy, this carjacker that was executed today, the jury didn't have it all, but they had enough. And I think when it comes to Dallas and Belen and Dannia, um, and I'm not saying that, because I don't know what the penalty is for doing what they did, because, they have to weigh it out. But I'm saying that Texas is serious. And I think there's enough there. And when I tell you what I know tomorrow about the connections, um, I just want to give a day for people that might be listening right now, to let Belen know, to let Danae know that I'm so sad they've been set up like this in their life, that they've been hypnotized with this kind of evil, groomed, because there is a better way. But there's no excuse for what they did, because now my son is dead. Um, and he was a whistleblower on top of that, which makes it very serious. And he was a U.S. Army soldier on his home, not in a war zone, at home. And I know for a fact that they say, if you see something, say something. He saw something. He said something. And instead of them cleaning up their act on Fort Bliss so others wouldn't get hurt, so there wouldn't be opportunities for whoever is behind Belen and whoever is behind Dannia, because this is the media also participating in this. Okay? The media did not do their homework and they participated in this. They're part of this. So what we have been learning is something that Tanya Katzen and Eddie Rocha can clarify. Maria Magdalena Rocha could clarify. Jose Manuel Rocha could clarify. Norma Elizabeth Rocha could clarify. Monica Aranda Rocha could clarify. Jose Manuel Rocha Jr. could clarify. And I think it needs clarification because today Texas executed a carjacker. And this is, we're getting this information because we have institutional support. And when is enough going to be enough for these people to realize they've been played? They've been played for a business plan. And not for them, because look, these people, so many of them were desperate. They had declared bankruptcy, but they've been played. And yeah, so I just want to give a day where they can clarify where to go. They know where to go. They know the CID well. They know the El Paso Police Department well. They know the El Paso Sheriff's Department well. They knew who the clean cops are. They knew who the dirty cops are. They know who the marshals are. They know where to go. This is not a game. And to find out that this is a close-knit group is kind of good news for us. Because that means we can get DC institutional help, and that's amazing. It shouldn't be amazing. It should absolutely be there because they work for us. They're supposed to keep us law-abiding citizens. That's why we have criminal records. That's why we have open records, to keep us from stumbling, to keep us from becoming criminals, to keep us being victims of criminals. That's why we have this pedophile, locator or whatever, right? We have to have an open record society. We have to have transparency. Otherwise, we're going to be played. So they absolutely knew Richard. This is a small group. And if I wasn't so sure about it, I wouldn't mention it. Um, but if there's any chance at all that it's not true, I want to give them an opportunity to come clean. Um, because the institution already knows who's who. Okay. It would be just a show of good faith. So, and every service member needs to be watching this because we need justice in Richard's case to stop the abuse of power that happened in this case, that happened in Vanessa Guillen's case, that happened in Austin Hawk's case, that happened in Caleb Smithers' case, that happened in Enrique Roman Martinez's case, that happened in Lavina Johnson's case, and I can go on all night long. There has to be transparency. There has to be justice to protect every service member. And that's why it's so important to back up this active duty soldier at Fort Bliss that has shed light on the JAG, saying that the JAG is not answering fraud, waste, and abuse claims. That's so serious, and the Congress needs to listen to it. And Veronica Escobar needs to put that in front of Congress. This needs to be discussed. For every soldier, every service member should be watching this, should be watching this very, very closely, and should sign their name to that petition to have their fellow soldiers back, to have their fellow service members six, right? Esprit de corps. Because let me tell you, these abuse of power people want to put you in war. They want to put you in war. They're going to find a way, and they're going to put you in war. And I'm afraid that I've been saying it for probably over a year, that they are going to bring in like mercenaries to stand beside you at war. They want war because they have a business plan, and they're going to play us. And they're going to do it in atrocities. Like what has happened in Israel is an atrocity. But who knows the truth of it? Who knows the truth of Richard's case? Because let me tell you, they've lied and lied and lied and lied. And the truth is that we have enough for a jury to convict Dallas Hart. We have his mother being just a perpetual criminal, hurting people, y'all. Every time a crime is committed, somebody is hurt. And look at what happened to Dannia and Belen. And for me to come on live and to say this, I'm going to need your prayers. We need your signatures for that soldier, but we also need your prayers for Team Find Richard Halliday. It's gotten out of hand with the crime, and a lot is wrong on Fort Bliss. And it's so wrong that Major General Eisenhower is impotent. He doesn't know what to do. This is a 2-star general that is allowing Lalani Hart, a convicted criminal, over and over again, and just in what was it, 20 March of 2023, accused of assault. In 2022, accused also. I mean, over and over again. It's like monthly, my monthly crime, my yearly crime. I think it's just perpetual because the failure to report is a, you know, how long did it take her to do that? How many crimes is she not reporting? How many how many people is she going to hurt? And when does it become that money it's just not worth it, you know, to sell my soul, that Faustian deal, to sell my soul, my integrity, my name, my stand in front of God, to just sell it, just so I can have a new truck, or I don't know, just to have money. It's just not. When does it become like that people are fearless and say, look, I'm going to put my faith in God and say, no, I'm not going to do this crime anymore. I'm going to stop this, because it seems to be like generational, like a family thing. When am I going to stop it? And I have to tell you, God's hand has been all over this, because I have the experience of my Oma. And I've said this before. She was from a criminal family. What do I mean by that? She was one of 6. Her father was a drinker and an abuser. They had a dirt floor. He sent out his children to go and work so that she would bring home the money. Her sister Paula Tanta, my mom always calls her, um, uh, dropped a pot of boiling water on her foot, her leg and foot, and she could not work. And so he sent my Oma, her name was Ida, to do the job. And that family virtually adopted her, wanted to adopt her. And her father said no, but taught her how to dress, taught her how to eat with a fork and knife, because she didn't have that at home, how to have manners, how to walk, how to positively blessed her. And when she became old enough, she left the Siedlung, which is like the ghetto. Um, it's still there, the Siedlung is still there in Pirmasens. Um, and my Oma left there. Her family even kind of called her names. Hochnas from Horeb moved into a little apartment that's still there in Pirmasens. It didn't get bombed. And it didn't have a bathroom in the apartment. The bathroom was, and this is in my day, was down the hall. In the apartment, you had to leave your apartment, go down the hall. Um, but she was considered a hochnas, a high nose, a stuck up, because she left the Siedlung for a better life. She said, no, I don't want it. I want a better life. I've been blessed by these people that I was made to work for and give my dad the money, but they blessed me. They gave me more than money. They gave me integrity and honor and a move up in class. And then she moved into a nicer apartment, which I remember as a child. I remember even Horeb, because her good friend Hetty Tiefenthaler and his wife still live there, and that's why I know that apartment so well. But she moved up even further, And she was a cleaning lady. She was a cleaning lady and a knitter. And she worked hard. And she moved up. And when I was in high school, so that's in the 80s, in Temple, Texas, she would say to us, just work hard, get your ticket for the flight, and I'll do the rest. I'll do the rest. I'll take good care of you. And we knew she would, right? And so we worked hard, and that kept us out of so much trouble. And we'd get on a plane when summer came and go visit my Omi, and she would give us a bank full of 5-mark pieces and have a nice trip planned for us to Austria, to Italy, to Switzerland. A lot of times Austria. She loved Austria. And we would go there and have the time of our life. They weren't the fanciest kind of vacations, but the time of our life. And that's how I learned German. And come back, and she did that all on a cleaning lady's wage. And she, in her apartment at that time, she didn't have a dishwasher. She didn't have hot running water, not even in her bathroom. She had a big one of these big water heater kettles where you put the wood and even cardboard. We'd use cardboard to start the wood fire and heat up the water, and we'd have about this much water in the bathtub. But oh my gosh, we had great times. And what that taught me is, if you have integrity and honor and a joy of life, the joy to do good, and that you're very giving. She was so giving. It's far better than being part of like a criminal syndicate and having a fancy car. She never had a car. She didn't know how to drive. But she didn't want it. That would be too expensive. She had other plans. 14 times to the United States for months at a time. And when she didn't come, we went there. So I hope that story, and of course, this lady right behind me, Theodora, who, had a terrible life. There's no excuse. You can move up. You can do it. Is it easy? It's not easy, but you can do it. And it's through those lessons that at the beginning of all of this, when people were twisting the narrative, putting false narratives out there, smearing Richard, just Belen saying what she did, Dannia saying, because Dannia is very, very good at being a con lady. Very convincing. She's probably the most convincing out of everybody. More convincing than Jay Paulin. More convincing than Captain David Park. More convincing than Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe. More convincing than CID Special Agent in the lead, Marlon Soto. She was more convincing than any of them. But not convincing enough. And what they did to her kind of came out. You can't hide the lies, right? You can't. They come out. So I hope that these young people that are listening, these young soldiers that are listening, that, I just hope that that we can give them hope too, that we're going to get accountability, that they have an opportunity to stick to their gun, honor their integrity, honor their name. Uh, think about that anyway, to even think about it. It seems like we never even think about our legacy. Uh, but, that's what I wanted to share tonight. So I'll take some questions now. Okay, prayers for you, Miss Halliday. Oh yeah, I'm very shaken by being happy about this execution. Yeah, thank you. Danielle, thank you. Grace, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, everybody. And, I'll be back tomorrow. I know that these three that are on here that are fearless, absolutely fearless Team Find Richard Halliday followers, fearless Team Find Richard Halliday, because of all the information that they share, um, and I'm sure that they've had to take some harassing, absolutely, because every one of us in Team Find Richard Halliday has been harassed and even threatened. So yeah, so I'm very, very grateful to them for being that strong. And they know that they're probably like, what? They're cousins? They're first cousins? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Let's give them a day. And there's more, y'all. There's more. There's a lot more. Brace yourself, because this is connected to another case. This is connected to a big prosecutor. This is connected to millions of dollars. This is connected to a business plan. And yeah, yeah. And for that, they're going to put as their human shield Belen and Dannia. Yeah, let's let them. They'll be the front line. They'll be the front line. We'll get these young girls. We'll groom them. We'll groom them real good. Get them on the front line. Um, yeah, it's really despicable. So, thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God